So we've got the spider results. They're basically divided into two. The theme words, these are one-word phrases, and then the theme phrases, which are 2, 3, and 4-word phrases. What you will find is that phrases, longer phrases like 2, 3, 4-word phrases appear on less pages than just the individual words. The reason for that is that if we take an example here, there is this phrase here, DHA and EPA. Now, not all websites will have that exact phrase, DHA and EPA. They might talk about DHA and they might talk about EPA. I can see EPA over here is a very important phrase. It appears on 9 of the top 10 pages. And I would assume DHA is similar. That appears on 8 of the top 10 pages. So clearly EPA and DHA are very important, but not necessarily as this phrase. If you type DHA on your article and you type EPA on your article, then you've pretty much got that phrase covered. So the phrases are actually in some ways a little bit less important than the individual words. These words make up the phrases, so it's important to have these theme words on the page, not quite as important to have the exact phrases. However, what we're going to do, we're going to have a quick look through and we're going to clean them. The first thing I should mention is that the vertical bar separates the keyword from the number of from the number of pages in the top 10 it appears on. So krill, oil, and fish all appear on all of the top 10 pages. Health appears on 9 of the top 10 pages. Food appears on 9 of the top 10 pages. Omega appears on 9 of the top 10 pages, and so on. Same with the phrases. Oil supplements appears on 5 of the top 10 pages. So what you can do is you can actually go through and you can edit these. You don't need to strip the numbers off because we've got a function here that will strip the numbers for us eventually. What you will notice is that the ones that appear the most appear at the top of the list. So the ones lower down the list are less important. Again, with the phrases, those that appear on more pages are at the top. Those that appear on less are at the bottom. Whereas with the keywords, we've cut it off at 5, so a keyword has to appear on at least 5 of the top 10 pages to appear in this list. With phrases, because phrases appear less than the actual theme words, as we've mentioned, I've got the cut off at 2. Doesn't mean to say you've got to use them all, doesn't mean to say you have to use any of them, because if you just concentrate on these theme words, you'll have most of these covered. These are really to keep you focused. So let's just have a quick look. We've got krill oil, fish oil. We've got fish oil with a question mark. We can delete that because that's the same. Fatty acids, okay, DHA and EPA, fine. Oil and krill, probably not going to use that because we're talking about krill oil and fish oil. That is probably part of a longer phrase, fish oil and krill oil. So I'm going to delete that. Oil supplements, again, is probably to do with fish oil supplements or krill oil supplements. And if either of those are important, they're going to appear on at least a couple of pages. So we'll get that further down this list. And again, we've got oil versus. That's an indicator that people are searching, or people are including on the pages, krill oil versus fish oil. And I can delete those. That's fine. Health benefits, great. Heart health. Oil supplement, contact us. Oil and fish, I'm going to delete that. EPA and DHA is similar to DHA and EPA. In fact, in Google's eyes, it's the same. Privacy policy, I can get rid of. Omega-3s, I'll keep, although omega-3 will probably appear lower down anyway. Fatty fish. Neptune Krill is a manufacturer of krill oil. Oil capsules. We've got fatty acids up here. That in Google's eyes is the same as fatty acid. It's just one's singular, one's plural, but they are the same in SEO terms. Now we've got krill oil supplement, fish oil capsules, fish oil supplement. Delete that. Oil is often product review. Okay, we delete that. Car buying, there must be some adverts on these. Healthcare might be important. Don't know. Consumer reports. Clinical trial. Okay, we'll have that. Essential fatty. Well, that is actually part of a longer term fatty acids. So what you can actually do if you want to is just type it in. I'm going to just type that in as essential fatty acids. Blood pressure, great. Antarctic krill. Omega-3 we've got there with omega-3s up here. So I'm going to delete omega-3s and just leave it as omega-3. Let's have a look. Next article. Delete, 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 delete. High levels possibly is important. Food chain is important. Why krill oil? Well, that's an interesting phrase you could use as a title. Krill oil supplements. Krill and fish, delete those. Sustainability of krill. Okay, that's quite important. Right, and I'm going to have a go down through the theme words as well and just take out any that I don't think are important. Found perhaps is not really highly relevant. Taking, difference is important because it was in the initial title. Since isn't important. That might be a word that you want to add to your ignore list. Better, higher, I'm going to leave those in right now. New, join. Two, you could type in the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 if you like into your ignore list as well if it's not already there. Less actually. Just working my way down. We're down to the ones that have only appeared on 5 of the top 10 pages. You know, you may actually want to delete all of those anyway from 5 downwards, because obviously if they're not appearing on at least half of the top 10 pages, then they're not going to be that important, are they? Got risk, healthy study, let's have arthritis, we'll leave that. Get rid of low. These again are more words that you may want to include in your ignore list. Once you've put them into your ignore list, they will be remembered forever, so you don't have to keep putting them in. Next time you run this, any new words that you've added to your ignore list will be processed as well. So that's my 2 lists. I'm going to strip the numbers, and now I've just got 2 lists, and I can export them. I can export them to the clipboard, and let me just show you that quickly first. So we've got 2 options for exporting. We can export as comma delimited or not. If you don't want to export with comma delimited, just uncheck that, export to clipboard, and then you can paste it into whatever app you want. So there's my list. You see theme words and they're listed. Remember, these are listed in order of importance, with the most important at the top, then theme phrases, and then the theme phrases again listing in order of importance. Let's just take that out of the way a second. We'll put comma delimited, and then you can see the difference. Export to clipboard. Let me open a new tab, paste them in, and then you can see they're just comma delimited. Depending on how you want to use them, I personally would use Web Content Studio to write the article, and I can just copy that and paste it directly into Web Content Studio's keyword section, and those keywords will then automatically be assigned to the article that I want to use them on. Let's just move that back out of the way for a minute. The export to text file, essentially that is exactly the same as what you've just seen. If you export to the text file, it will export it exactly like this for the non-comma delimited, and exactly like that for the comma delimited. So that choice is yours. So that's how you get your keywords out of the keyword spider and into a text editor or any tool that you want to use them with.